Hi there, my name's Michael and welcome to Tabletop-Infiltrator. In today's video I'll be showcasing the models that I've been working on over the last couple of months and have now completed. I'll show you how the units have turned out, we'll check out their data sheets and also how I plan to use them on the tabletop. Let's get started. So looking at the first two units, I've got two 5-man Incursor squads. I really like Phobos armour. It fits in really well with the theme that I'm trying to achieve with my army, and I've got quite a bit of it now in the actual force painted up. So I've got these two 5-man squads. I've also got two 10-man infiltrator squads. So yeah, quite Phobos heavy, so I'm quite used to painting it now. I've got an established technique with all my miniatures and models now in terms of painting wise, which is just a standard process that I try and use on all the models that I paint up. I use a Chaos Black rattle can to do an undercoat. I use heavy blue, which I run through my airbrush as a base coat. I then block out all the individual colours on the rest of the model, tidy these up afterwards. I then give the entire model a wash in Nuln oil, go back over the block colours, tidying up any detailing, tidying up any pooling or any dark spots, adding some additional details, doing the base work. I've also a couple of weeks ago got hold of some, it's called Gamer's Grass, dry tuft 6mm, and it's just like little scenic tufts of grass they've got like a little sticky pad on the bottom of them, and you can add them onto the miniature. So these go on here. I do use a little bit of a PVA glue just to give an additional stick to them. I'm really happy with how they turned out. You can see I've got a little haywire mine here. Rule of cool for me, don't intend to use them on the battlefield, but I just think it's quite a cool idea. You could potentially throw in like a landmine at a vehicle or something like that. And then also, if you've noticed in the rest of my army, all the rest of the bolt pistols, the little armoured cases on there, are painted red as well, so it's just a little bit of a theme I'm trying to achieve. I also like the fact that the multi-spectrum array is pointing in the same direction as the heads, which I think is quite cool. And the bit that I was quite apprehensive about painting was the heads, because I do actually hate painting heads, but I'm really happy with how they turned out. They give each model an individual feel and also help to break up that blue armour as well, so really happy with how they've turned out. Data sheet wise, they're movement 6, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 3 on the sergeant, leadership 7, 8 on the sergeant with a 3-up save. They're equipped with a bolt pistol, Oculus bolt carbine, peg combat blades, frag grenades and crack grenades. The Oculus bolt carbine is range 24, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP 0 and 1 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. That's okay, but again, at the end of the day, it is just a bolter. They do have a multi-spectrum array, so each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any or all hit roll and ballistic skill modifiers, which again is okay. It's a nice little bonus to have if I want to do a little bit of chip damage, but they are bolters at the end of the day. In terms of how I actually want to play them on the battlefield, they've got the forward deploy ability, so I can deploy outside of my deployment zone anywhere on the battlefield, which is more than 9 inches away from an enemy model or enemy deployment zone. So instantly I'm moving up and I'm getting that, I'm establishing some ball control on objective markers in no man's land. The successor chapter tactics that I run are, let's have a look. The first one's Whirlwind of Rage. So each time a model with this tactic makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention this turn, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 1 additional hit. So that's quite handy. If they get stuck into close combat, they've got quite a few attacks, possibly getting some additional ones in there from the 6s. And then I also run Born Heroes as well, so each time a model with this tactic makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move this turn, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. So I'm hitting on 2s on the charge, 6s pop additional hits. If I'm in the Assault Doctrine, if they survive to when I get into the Assault Doctrine, it's AP -2. So they have got a real sting when it comes to close combat. And like I said, the bolt weapons, they're not great, they are just bolters, but they can just do some chip damage. So overall, I'm getting ball control straight away. They're quite nasty in close combat, chip damage. So yeah, I'm really quite happy with how I can use how the unit's been performing on the board. One of the major stratagems that I can use on it is guerrilla tactics. So for 1 CP, I can put them back into strategic reserve to come on the following turn, which is quite handy if I'm doing like retrieve Nachman data or something like that, or I need to get them out of a tricky situation. And obviously I can give them the usual transhuman, and I can also give them, they've got the smokescreen keyword, I believe. Where does it say this? Yes, smokescreen. So you can play that stratagem on them as well, and give them -1 to hit. But to be honest, they're a trading unit. They're 21 points each, so for a squad of 5 they come out at 105. I've given no additional upgrades or no haywire mines or anything like that. So they literally are there to jump onto a target. If they survive, onto an objective. If they survive, great. If not, I haven't expended that many points into the unit. Next up, we have one of my first HQ units that I'll be showing you today, and this is a lieutenant in Phobos armour. So again, the Phobos armour theme running through my army. I really like it, and that's pretty much why I've chosen this particular lieutenant and not some of the million others that Games Workshop have released. Now this one, I don't actually think you can get him off the shelf. You can get the lieutenant in Reaver armour, but not in Phobos armour. So I actually picked him off of eBay. I really like his details. He's got that little communication piece on the front of his chest. His bolter weapon is a little bit more ornate and detailed. He's got some purity seals on there. I also like his little grab chutes that he's got on there as well. He's standing on the ubiquitous rock that every character in 40k seems to be standing on recently, and I think he's on the slightly larger base, which is the 32mm base, I think. And so I've just given him 2 little tufts of grass just to add an additional bit of detail on there and help break up the base itself. Just followed the standard painting technique that I've spoken about previously when it comes to Phobos army and the rest of my army. So yeah, really happy with how he's turned out. In terms of datasheet wise, he is movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8 with a 3-up save. He comes as standard with a bolt pistol, mastercrafted Oculus bolt carbine, paired combat blades, frag grenades and crack grenades. So the mastercrafted Oculus bolt carbine is identical to the Incursors, except it's 2 damage because it's a mastercrafted weapon, and the enemy targets don't receive the benefits of cover against their attacks, similar to the Incursors. And then he's got tactical precision, which is why I take him. While a friendly chapter core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, re-roll a wound roll of 1. So the plan with him is that he hangs around with my eradicators, just making them more efficient for their shooting. They can be really deadly with him hanging around. He's got keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry character, Primaris, Phobos and Lieutenant. He hasn't got the smokescreen keywords, so I can't give him the -1 to hit strat on him. I'm literally not giving him any additional warlord traits or relics or anything. He's literally in the army to look cool in his Phobos armour and to give those reroll 1s to wound for shooting or close combat. So that's the reason why I take him. He works out at 80 points. So a normal lieutenant I think is 75, the Primaris one is 75, so he's 5 points more expensive. But I like it just because I like Phobos armour. So yeah, how I plan to use him on the battlefield, he's literally, like I said, going to be hanging around with my eradicators just to help bump up their shooting. that efficiency is really key because they are the main firing unit that I've got in the army. So yeah, that's his main role. And if he can do anything else on the battlefield, if he can, then that's fair enough. But he can defend himself now with that paired combat blade and also the chapter traits that I use. Next up is another troops choice, which is a 10-man assault intercessor squad. These guys are the multi-part kit that comes in the Space Marine Shield Breaker box set, which I got at Christmas time. So again, this is another staple part of my army. I've really enjoyed painting them up, and how they perform has actually been quite impressive. I usually split the 10-man squad up into 2 combat squads, so we've got the sergeant here, and then if I do want 2 5-man squads, I've got another miniature which has got a purity seal on him and a bald head, so I can differentiate if I need 2 5-man squads. The painting technique is similar to all the other rest of the models that I've painted up in the army. These ones I literally did bare bones. I run them bare bones and I painted them bare bones. There's no ornate decorations on them or holsters. I just wanted a 10-man squad that I could get onto the tabletop, but still took my time. Like you can see here, I've added the red casings on the bolt weapons. That's becoming a theme in the rest of the army, and also that I did on the other 10-man squad. In terms of their profile, they're movement 6, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 3 on the sergeant, leadership 7, 8 on the sergeant with a 3-up save. They're equipped with a heavy bolt pistol, a Astartes chainsword, frag grenades and crack grenades. The heavy bolt pistol, range 18, pistol 1, strength 4, -1 AP and 1 damage. Quite useful for a little bit of chip damage. And then the Astartes chainsword is a melee weapon, strength of the user, -1 AP, 1 damage, and each time the bearer fights it makes 1 additional attack with this weapon. The Intercessor Sergeant, you can give them like a power sword if you want to, or a hand flamer. You could give them a power fist or a thunder hammer, but these units for me are a trading unit. They can go up, sit an objective, defend an objective, attack off an objective if I need to. But I'm not going to be putting a lot of points into the unit just in case they are wiped out. There are, let's see, their keywords: Imperium, Adapters, Astartes, Infantry Corps, Primaris, Intercessors, Assault Intercessor Squad. So how I plan to use them on the tabletop, like I said, soon as it's my first turn, they're rushing up to support the Incursors that are sitting in no man's land and forming that second wave to sit on primary objectives. To be honest, I did run a 1 10-man squad and combat squadded them, and then I had some normal intercessors, but I found that the assault intercessors were just really performing really well. They've got quite useful chip damage, especially with the AP -1 on those heavy bolt pistols, but where they really come into their own is when it comes to close combat. So the Astartes chainsword is -1 AP, 1 damage. You get 1 additional attack with this weapon. So on the charge, they've got 2 attacks, 3 for the sergeant. That goes up to 3 attacks, 4 for sergeant with the chainsword. You've then got another attack for actually charging, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5 for the sergeant. So it's quite considerable. I think it's 21 attacks for a squad of 5. And then the way I run them is on the charge I've got 2+ to hit and 6 additional hits, and then the assault doctrine is AP -2. These guys can have got quite a punch when they charge, and it can be a little bit off. It can put off balance an opponent when they think, it's just a bare bones Primaris Assault Intercessor Squad. There's nothing like power fists or plasma weapons or power swords or anything in it. They can dish out a serious amount of attacks. So really impressed with how the first 10-man squad performed, and that's why I painted up and got another 10-man squad in the army. Points wise, they're 19 points per model, so for a 10-man squad, that works out at 190 points. I may, if I've got any spare points, I may add a power sword in there just to give the sergeant a little bit of an extra sting, and that'll bring them up to 195 points. But yeah, normally running them bare bones, so 190 for a squad of 10 there. And like I said, running them bare bones because I'm not expecting them to survive very long. So they're literally just to rush up, support the Incursors, set an objective, and really play that primary game and get units into the mid-board. My next unit is my second HQ choice, and this is a converted Primaris Captain. So some of you might recognise the model that I actually converted him from, which is the new Black Templars Primaris Emperor's Champion model. As soon as I saw that miniature on preview, I thought when it comes out I absolutely have to have him, and I knew exactly how I wanted to convert him. So the additional parts that I added on and changed slightly was the iron halo here at the top. This is from the original Primaris Captain, and then the storm shield here and arm came from the Primaris Lieutenant that you get in the Indominus box set, just because the way the arm is modelled really adds to how the Primaris Captain here looks like he's striding forward with his sword raised up in the air, his shield held back with the wind blowing on his tabards. So I achieved the exact look I was aiming for when it came to this miniature, and I'm really happy with how he turned out. In terms of painting wise, I use the same technique as I did on the rest of my miniatures. I usually paint tabards purple, but I thought I'd give the creamy white a try. I'm really again happy with how he turned out. He's standing on the ubiquitous rock with a little skull underneath it, and as he's on the slightly larger base, I added 2 tufts of grass on there for him. Again, really happy with how he turned out. In terms of datasheet wise, he is movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 5 attacks, leadership 9 with a 3-up save. He comes with a bolt pistol, as standard a master crafted auto bolt rifle, frag grenades and crack grenades, but I have changed this out for the master crafted power sword, which is +1 strength, -3 AP at 2 damage. And then I've given him the relic shield as well, which adds 1 to the armor save made for the bearer. In addition, each time the bearer would lose a wound as a result of a mortar wound on a roll of a d6, on a 4+, that wound is not lost. So he's quite tanky. He's got that 4-up invuln because he has got an iron halo. So he's got a 3-up save, a 4-up invuln save, +1 to the armor save with the storm shield, and a 4-up against mortal wounds. And he's got quite a sting when it comes to close combat. I have given him a couple of, I think I've given him a warlord trait and a relic. The relic that I've given him is, let's have a look here, it is the Burning Blade. So model equipped with a power sword or mastercrafted power sword only, which is what he's got. The relic replaces a power sword or mastercrafted power sword and has the following profile. So it's a melee weapon +3 strength. So he's gone up from strength 4 to 7, so you can take on lightly armored vehicles now in close combat. AP -5 and 2 damage. Really good. I do like the idea of that Burning Blade, and also as I'm running the units as Salamander Successors, that burning feel, that Burning Blade, I just had to add it in there, so that's why I did that. I then have also upgraded him to be a Chapter Master and given him the Warlord trait, Master of the Codex. So at the start of your command phase, if this warlord is on the battlefield, roll a d6, on a 4+, you gain 1 command point. I found that my army is quite command point hungry, so any way of getting more command points back is actually really handy. Sometimes it's 50-50, so it pays. Sometimes it's worked really well, sometimes I've really laboured. And then when you become a Chapter Master, let's have a look. In the command phase, select one friendly chapter core or chapter character unit within 6 inches of this model until the start of your next command phase. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. So re-roll to hits, just assign it in the command phase and then send the unit to go off and do its thing. I like, in my first turn, I usually stick it on like some assault intercessors or something, or whatever, and get them to send off and charge off into the distance and go attack something. But then his usual job is really actually to sit with my eradicators. So I'm getting full re-rolls to hit with him. I'm getting re-roll ones to wound with the lieutenant. It's really making those eradicators really efficient and deadly when it comes to their firepower. I was using a captain in Phobos armour and doing some little trickeries with Lord of Deceit to redeploy miniatures on the battlefield, but I was finding that it wasn't giving me that much of an advantage. My opponents just weren't bothered the fact that I'd redeployed a couple of the units of Incursors. So that's why I've moved on to Master of the Codex and actually got the Primaris captain instead of the Phobos captain. Also, what I found is the Phobos captain is absolutely useless in close combat, where this guy is an absolute beefcake. Playing him with my successor traits, +2 on the charge to hit. Oh no, he's already on. So he's already on 2s to hit, so he ignores that. But then 6s pop. Any 6s to hit pop additional hits with Whirlwind of Rage. So he can dish out a serious amount of attacks, and with the Burning Blade you can really dial him up to another level in close combat. So he's there primarily to support my shooting, but if anything comes anywhere near my shooting to take it out, or it's getting to the point where I need to strike out heavy at a particular unit, he's my man. When it comes to, there's some useful stratagems I can play on him as well. The usual that you get with Space Marines, but with the Salamanders one, you can give him, I think, where is it? Yes, here it is. So Strength of the Primarch, which is 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select 1 Salamander's unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, add 1 to the strength characteristics of that model in that unit. So he's now Strength 8. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely ridiculous. And when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in that unit on an unmodified wound roll of 6, doubles the damage characteristics of that weapon, of that attack. So he'd be potentially damage 4. So that is absolutely massive. He's got 5 attacks as standard, 1 for charging, okay? So that's 6 attacks. 6s pop additional hits, so I'm bound to get some on there, and he's hitting on a 2+. That is unbelievable. And then he's hitting on strength 7, and any 6s to wound double the damage characteristics. That is, and what I found in games recently is that there's a lot of -1 damage. So the tactic is either to plaster your opponent with loads of 1 damage, or get loads and loads of damage in there, which is like 3 damage or 4 damage, because if you're on 2 damage, you're instantly losing half the efficiency. So you really want to go lots and lots of 1 damage, or anything 3 damage, 4 damage, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's an absolute beatstick. He's chopped up Death Shroud Terminators in 1 round of close combat. He's truly someone to be feared, and he's really helped boost up that protection around my my gun line and supporting them as well. So yeah, that's why he's included, and I really like I said, how he's turned out. And then finally, here we have him, the most amazing model that I have got in my collection. It is a firstborn Space Marine Chaplain that I had painted up by Siege Studios. Honestly, I love this miniature. It is absolutely amazing. I found Siege Studio, they were recommended by, I think it was Luke Barker, who runs Striking Scorpion 82. A lot of his commission work is done through Siege Studios, and I clicked on the link, and I just started the process off from there, and this is the end result, and I have to say it is absolutely amazing. I love this miniature. It's by far my favourite model in my entire collection. Siege Studios were absolutely fantastic. The whole process, it's the first time I've ever got a model painted on commission, and it was an amazing experience. I contacted them, filled in an online form. There was quite a few communication emails back and forth just about what I was hoping, what I was expecting, what I wanted getting done, how I wanted the miniature to look. This Chaplain is actually like the special edition one. You couldn't buy it just him off the shelf up until quite recently. But what I wanted was to have a jump pack on him. So I actually got the Vanguard jump packs, which were quite ornate, and I stuck like a little iron halo there on the top of him. And I basically said, this is what I was after, are you able to do it? They said yes. You go into they literally want as much detail from you as possible. They're so accommodating. Their communications have been excellent. It was just an experience that I will never forget, and I will very much be going back to Siege Studios in the future. I really love this model, and all the details on it are just absolutely fantastic. I mean, the camera really doesn't do him justice. The jump pack is actually magnetized. So he comes with a normal backpack if I want to use him on just on the ground, but just look at him, the level of detail on there. Like, he's got like his glowing red eyes, the purity seals, the writing that's on here, and the detail. I asked for the casing to be red on the bolt pistol just to match him with the rest of my army. The Corrosus Arcanum is just fantastic, the level of detail on there, the scripture work that was done on this, a little bit of, I don't know what this is called here, just this tabard flowing from his side. It was absolutely fantastic. They kept me, what I had to do is, I decided that I was going to build the model and actually send it off to them because it was slightly cheaper to do it that way, and it would be then in the pose that I wanted it to be. So I've done this model is probably the most prep work I've done on a model ever. So you can't send them anything that's got any mold lines or anything like that if you're prepping them and building the model. So I literally cleaned it, got rid of any mold lines, filled in any gaps. It magnetized the jump pack. It was a lot of work just to get it prepped up. What I did ask them to do was not do the base work, because what I wanted to do was match the ornate stonework that's on here to match it up to what was in the rest of my army, and also it made it a little bit cheaper as well. And there's a little tuft of grass on there just to break that up. And then also I asked them if I could his little shoulder pad on this side, the one that's coming around here, I wanted them to match that shoulder pad up to the heavy blue colour that's on the rest of my army, and they matched it really well. And I'm going to put the skull transfer on there shortly, but this model is absolutely amazing. Like, those eyes are just absolutely fantastic. You've got that little bit of hint of blue on the intakes on the jump pack. Just the level of detail in it is fantastic, and honestly I couldn't have asked for a better miniature to add to my collection. So I'm gobsmacked every time I take them out, and I've had a few comments about it. So, oh, you did a great paint job, and I was like, I did not paint that. That is all down to the fantastic artists at Siege Studios. So yeah, what I will do is I'll put a link down in the description for Siege Studios. Go check them out. I will be going back to them. I hate painting black, so I'm thinking of starting a Chaplain series and just getting one of each of the Chaplains painted up from Siege eventually. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section what you think. I think it's turned out brilliantly. It's exactly what I was after. and he fits in really well with my army, especially as I was able to do the basing when he got back. So there's a little bit of the sand work that I usually do. The colour of the masonry is the same with the rest of the stonework and everything else in my army, and then I just added a little tuft of grass there just to break it all up. So yeah, really happy with it. And then this is what he looks like with his standard backpack on. So you can again see the detail that's gone into the purity seals, the scripture on there, the little bone reliquary on there, and the chain work. I often probably won't use him with the standard jump pack on, with the standard backpack on there, because you'll be coming in from deep strike. But again, I really like the ornateness of that backpack that goes with this particular model. And I think again, it's the work that Siege Studio and the artist did is absolutely fantastic, and I always catch myself looking at just the little scripture work and the little details that have gone on for it. So yeah, really happy. And then in terms of his data sheet here, I've got the Space Marine Codex open and looking at his profile. So he's got a 6-inch movement, but with his jump pack he's got a 12-inch movement. He's weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, and this has hit me in a couple of games, and he's only got 4 wounds, and then 3 attacks. So he is a firstborn, so he's not got as many attacks as a Primaris Chaplain, who have 4 attacks. Leadership 9 with a 3-up save. He comes as standard with a bolt pistol, corrosive arcanum, frag grenades and crack grenades. The Corrosius Arcanum is a melee weapon, +2 strength, -1 AP and 2 damage. And then if I give him the jump pack, he has a move characteristic of 12 inches here, and then death from above ability, so he can come in from deep strike. He's a spiritual leader, so while a friendly chapter core unit is within 6 inches of this model, models in that unit can use this model's leadership characteristic instead of their own, which is actually has come in handy a couple of times for me. He's got a Rosarius, which gives him a 4+ invuln save, and this model knows the Litany of Hate and 1 other litany from the litanies of battle. Okay, so in your command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, it can recite 1 litany it knows that has not already been recited by a friendly model this turn. Roll a d6. On a 3+, the recited litany is inspiring and takes effect until the end of your next command phase. Okay, and then his keywords are Imperium, Adaptus Astartes, Infantry, Character, Priest and Chaplain. So when it comes to his litanies, so Litany of Hate is what he comes with as standard. So if this litany is inspiring, when a friendly chapter character unit is within 6 inches of this priest, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, you can re-roll the hit roll. So that's pretty handy. The litanies, the other litany that I've chosen, actually before I tell you that, I've actually upgraded him to, here it is, the Master of Sanctity. So this model knows 1 additional litany from the litanies of battle, and in your command phase, if this model is on the battlefield, it can recite 1 additional litany it knows that has not already been recited by a friendly model that turn. Okay, so that's pretty good. I've also given him the Warlord trait, Wise Orator. So if each time this Warlord recites 1 litany, add 1 to the roll to see if it's inspiring. So a 3+ is a little, sometimes you can be taken off guard by a 3+ and you don't get it. So a 2+ on a litany, and each time this Warlord is selected to use the Commanding Oratory stratagem, that stratagem costs 1 command point. So the Commanding Oratory stratagem basically means that the chaplain can recite a litany and make it automatically active outside of the command phase. So the idea with him is that he's in deep strike, he comes down and he's supporting my Terminators, because it's outside of the command phase, usually I wouldn't be able to recite the litany and give them a bonus, but because the Wise Orator trait allows you to use commanding oratory stratagem for 1 CP, it is cheaper, it's normally 2, and then that stratagem allows you to recite a litany automatically. So the litany that I go for is here. It is Canticle of Hate. So this is so he gets Litany of Hate as standard, and because he's now upgraded, as Master of Sanctity, I can give him 2 additional ones. So Canticle of Hate. So if this litany is inspiring, then a friendly chapter core chapter character unit within 6 inches of this priest. Add 2 to the charge roll made for that unit. So he's come down with some Terminators. Instead of a 9-inch charge, they can have 7-inch charge, because when you come down from deep strike, you can't be any closer than 9 inches to an enemy model. So it's making those charges from deep strike just a little bit more possible. And each time a model in that unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move, it can move up to an additional 3 inches. This is not commented with any other rules that increase the model's pile-in or consolidate. So normally models can pile in and consolidate 3 inches. This gives you another 3 inches, which really it enables you to do a little bit of trickery, maybe moving on to objectives or something like that. And then I've given him Mantra of Strength, so this is to help him out. So if it's inspiring, add 1 to this priest's attack and strength characteristics, so it's pretty good. And then add 1 to the damage characteristics of melee weapons with this priest is equipped with. So I have been thinking about replacing the Corrosium Arcanum, I think that's how you say it, with the relic, the Benediction of Fury. So it's for a Chaplain model only. It replaces the Corrosive Arcanum and has the following profile. It's a melee weapon, +2 strength, -2 AP and 3 damage. So he's quite beefy. So he's strength 4, so goes up to strength 6. Strength 7 if that litany is inspiring, -AP 2, AP 3 if he's in the Assault Doctrine, and 3 damage. So it is pretty nasty in close combat. And then each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. So he can actually, if he doesn't get smacked out, like when he jumps into close combat, I've played a couple of games with him, he hits really hard, especially if he's got the Benediction of Fury. However, because he is a firstborn Marine, you can't use Transhuman on him and some other strats to possibly help him out, like Fight on Death. I think I can't use Fight on Death, I think it's Primaris only. But yeah, he tends to die quite quickly, and my 4+ invuln saves have not helped, rolling really poorly. But yeah, he can be quite a beat stick. So he's there to support the Terminators currently when they come down out deep strike, get them into close combat, buff them up if I need to, and then he can get stuck in and really start slapping around some enemy models. So he's got the Jump Pack, Master of Sanctity, Wise Orator, Canticle of Hate, Mantra of Strength, and he works out at 130 points. Probably in the future, the next Chaplain I'd probably really like to get painted up by Siege Studios is just the standard Primaris Chaplain. The one that I got in the Indominus box set, because he looks quite chunky, and I didn't like the other guy that came with like the walking cane, Corrosive Arcanum. So yeah, he'll probably be the next one I get painted up. And then after that, I've probably got a one of the special edition Chaplain Terminators, and I'll send him off as well. So I'll have quite a collection of Chaplains in the army. So yeah, like I said, fantastic model. Siege Studios were amazing. Can't thank you enough for the awesome work that you did on him. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic, and he's going to be in my list for a very long time. He's also got his own little plinth in my display cabinet, so yeah, really happy. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. Would you be interested in checking out Siege Studios for any commission work? So that was my first hobby roundup. of the units that I've been working on over the last couple of months. My pace of painting has slowed a little bit, simply because I've gone back to work after furlough, and I've been really busy at work, so it's meant that I haven't been able to do a lot of hobbying where I was previously. But I'm slowly, methodically working through the units that I want to think about adding into the army and trying out. Like I said, eventually I want to have the majority of the Space Marine range painted up, so yeah, continuous project. Let me know what you think of the units that I've painted up. How did I do on them? How would you use them on the tabletop? Would you include them in your Space Marine army? How would you tool them up, key them up, throw them into close combat? How would you use them on the tabletop? Already on my painting desk for my next project is my Redemptor General. I've started building him. I wanted to do a vehicle just to break up the fact that I've done quite a few infantry units yet next, and it's going to be a different way of painting him. There's going to be a lot of sub-assembly involved, just so I can get in between the armour plates and his chassis. And then moving on from that, I'll be painting my Blade Guard veterans finally. I've been going on about these for months now. They're built, they're primed and base coated, which is going to speed up the process massively. So as soon as I finish the Redemptor, I'll move straight onto the Blade Guard, and then I can get them in the list because I already have the Impulsor ready for them. So they can go in, I can start play testing them. And then I'll be looking at the remaining contents in the Shieldbreaker box set that I got. Probably looking around the Intercessor squad that's in there, the multi-part kit, just because I want to start bulking out the army in terms of different options for future-proof in the army. If I just want to throw some Intercessors in there, I've got the options to do that. So yeah, that's the plan moving forward. That's the next couple of squads that I'm aiming at. There's also the heavy Intercessors in there, so I might actually go Redemptor Dreadnought, Blade Guard veterans, and heavy Intercessors, just because I like the look of them and I think I'd really enjoy. And there's only 5 of them, so yeah, that's the plan. If you've enjoyed the video, consider giving me a thumbs up. If you haven't, a thumbs down. Leave like I said, all your comments down in the comments section on everything that you think about the video and the miniatures and everything. Siege Studio details, they're going to be down there as well, the lot. If you want to see more content, if you want to support the channel out, hit that subscribe button down there in the corner. Switch on notifications so you never miss a video, and hopefully I will see you next time.